Hello viewers, you're welcome to Let's Talk. It's been a minute, but I'm glad to be back. Today we're going to be talking to none other than UYIME-IVY King, the wife of late Ubong King.
It's good to be here.
First of all, I must say you're beautiful. Always.
I'm blushing actually.
You always have been. I've always seen you as just a beautiful woman, a statement on your own, right? Not needing so much, to just be who you are and come across as confident, loving, caring, no nonsense, if I may add, kind of woman. But yes, audience, the support.
I'm actually shy.
No, but that's the truth. And then that's one thing we women don't do for each other. We don't give ourselves kudos. We don't give ourselves wings to fly or allow each other to occupy their spaces and occupy it well. But you've done such a great job over the years. Like I said earlier, there's been a bit of a bump in the way, yeah?
Yeah.
We could just call it that. So recently, honey, yes, you lost your husband, right? So what we're going to do today is we're going to, as much as you can, as much as your heart will allow you to, as much as grace that we spoke about earlier will allow you to, we would just like to take this journey with you. Take us through what you've been through.
That's kind of tough because it's been a lot. He passed on in December 26th. So it's been a long journey here. I think this is 7 months plus. But I think the testimony for me is that in spite of everything that has happened, I'm still standing. The children are standing. And what we started together in the form of our business is still standing. Because I know of businesses where the founder passed on and everything crumbled to the dust. So I bless God that it's been tough, but we can look back and also thank God. Because there's nothing I'm going to say here that I'm not going to reference God. It's been Him all the way. In fact, if I didn't have that as an anchor, my faith and my trust in God, I think it would have been even more difficult. We all know that life happens and we don't really predict what life gets to throw at you. Because I'm sure if we're able to choose our troubles, we'll all go for the easier ones, And I'm sure people that have followed my husband, for instance, on his social media will see videos where we've spoken about, and even me as a writer, because I did more of the writing. And most times he will write, he will push it to me, oh yeah, vet, you're the English woman and all of that stuff. And we said things like, we are going to grow old together on one pillow till all our teeth fall out. Things like that. Not knowing that God had a different plan. So we didn't have any lens to see through, to know about that they happening. And it's even more difficult because if you have a spouse who maybe has been ill for a while, you maybe terminally ill and you have that information. Yeah, I know it's still tough, but you know that okay, what you're dealing with is terminal. Someday, they predicted it. But when it happens suddenly, a situation where he was in Calabar for a meeting and he was training for like 3 days, went to Abuja from there and then came back from Abuja, and just a few days this thing hit us. So that too is a bit of is a tough one. It's a tough one, but God is faithful. God is faithful. And when it happened, when he passed on, one of the things that hit me first, I was thinking of the children, because we have a really close-knit family. Wow. Very close-knit. We are close to the children and we talk with them. As much as he was busy, one of the things the children have said in this season was that he was very busy, but he had time for us. Wow. He always had time. In fact, there's a particular time when he did all the school runs. I didn't even go near the school. And when I finally got to the school, the matron was telling me, Mommy, where have you been? We've not seen you this time. Wow. So it's something he did gladly and joyfully. Wow. He prioritized family. So that was a big one when that news hit. And my first thought was, how do I handle the children? I wasn't even thinking of myself at that point. I was thinking of the children. So I had to put myself in a denial mode, just push my own feelings and emotions and everything to the background and just deal with first of all, breaking the news to the children and every other thing that follows. And I think one of the things that also helped us in that season is that my pastor and his wife, Pastor Paul Adefarson and his wife, Pastor Ifeanyi, they really showed up for me and the children big time. You know, Pastor Paul or his wife, they were always calling me. In fact, that day we took him to hospital, the 26th of December. Pastor Paul set up prayer. In fact, throughout that night that we were battling with his health and everything, they were praying. I asked the pastor in church who called me and said, look, I'm stripping naked, I'm rolling on the floor, this thing cannot happen, and all of that, you know. But eventually our worst fears came to be. And well, when things like that happen, you have to face it head on. There's nothing you can do. So he was always on the phone. And one thing Pastor Paul said to me in the whole mix, he said something that I think it really struck. He said that God is going to give you clarity of mind because you need it for the decisions that need to be taken. Because if I had crumbled at that point and just lost it, it would have been really, really tough. And I think God overheard that prayer because the clarity of mind that came to me was so much that with everything that got thrown at me, I realized that I was in that space where I wasn't confused. My mind wasn't blurry. I was well equipped to face whatever it is that was happening. So, told the children after the initial shock and crying and everything, you know, one of the things the children did, which my sister reported, because she went into their room that day, and she said she saw them, they were all in the room together, holding her hands and praying, and that's how she saw them, you know. So I think, in a way, I think life sort of prepares, you know, somehow prepares us, but you don't know, because I think they drew on the resources of things that we've done with them over time. They've seen where we've had challenges, maybe with the business. So that was in that initial time, and that's what I really thank God for, because after the initial, the children even became worried for me. Yeah, they were now concerned for me. Even just a few days ago, we were talking about it, and the children said, at any time, mommy will just come upstairs. She'll walk past our room, and she'll not even, if the room is scattered, normally mommy will shout. But mommy wasn't shouting, and said, no, mommy is not okay. That we are not okay, and unconsciously they will start arranging their room without me shouting. So these days when I scream on them, oh yeah, they say, mommy is back.
Oh my goodness! Oh, bless
you know? Yeah, so the children were quite strong, and that also gave me courage, because when I looked at 4 of them, I knew that I had 4 reasons to leave. Then I looked at my mom, and that was another reason. I looked at my siblings. I come from a really close-knit family, and I think it's something that my husband loved a whole lot, you know, and they showed up for me in this season in a way that I can't even explain it. And I'm not even talking of close friends, like Silver, for instance, who is off camera right now and looking at me, you know, and some other good friends like that, you know, homegrown people, even my mates, because one of the things we've done over time as we train the children in the Word of God, we're also training our mates. And last year, especially throughout the lockdown, we had sessions upon sessions in the house. In fact, we had so much fun at home that my sister even said, she's not looking forward to this lockdown, you know, ending. We are having so much fun in the presence of God. My husband was always teaching us the Word of God, and we used to call him Bishop, and he would be laughing and teasing us that we've not sold love offering to him. You know? So he took time and invested in teaching. Yes, we've done it over the years. It's as if last year's one was special. It was concentrated teachings for months. You know, so it was like God was training you, a homegrown army for me. And this was my first basic source of support. Yes, I have wonderful friends outside the home. You know, even the office team at the office, we're more like, because the kind of company culture we have is more like a family. Our core managers are like, they were like, one of them was like a mentor to them, like a big brother to them. And because one of the things I've done this season was to get to meet all the staff one-on-one interactions, and I realized that all of them had a relationship with my husband. And for a lot of them, that is just their sole reason for staying back, you know. So that was it, first level support, because I didn't know that trouble was brewing. You know. So that was it. And then after that initial shock, of course, my mother-in-law was still there. And before I could even have an opportunity to tell her already, the news was spreading. I don't know how. Everywhere. It was online. People were writing also both true and untrue, you know, and saying people that didn't even, you know, just picking up the news from somewhere and they owned it like they were there.
Wow.
Somebody said, oh, he passed on in the house, blah, blah, all sorts of rubbish I was reading online. And that was even the first major prompt for me to tell the children that we can't hide this thing from them. The way it's spreading, I have teenagers and they go online, they will see it. And then my in-laws, I don't even have time to tell my mom yet. We're thinking how was the best way to bring it to them. And you know, funny enough, a cousin actually called my mom that night and said, Auntie, what is it I'm hearing? My brothers almost chewed him up because they were upset. Why would you do that? You know? I eventually got some pastor friends to go to her. Then shortly after the death of my husband, like 18 days after, his mom also passed. I'm told that when they broke the news to her that first day, one of the things she said was that that means she's also going to go, that she wasn't going to survive it. You know?
They were that close. Actually, it's never a good experience, and like you said earlier, it's not something that you wish for. You can wish it on your enemy. So it's one thing to see it happen to somebody else, but another thing to actually experience it and then walk through it. And then we hear a lot of things, like in the Igbo culture, there's a lot of things that go on, you know, the taboos and I don't know how it's been like, I don't know what the experience for you has been like. Did you have to go through any things, you know, culturally? Was there support and love from the family? How did all of that play out for you?
Okay, I think first of all, the kind of husband I married, he wasn't a traditional person in any sense of the word. And he's somebody that was fully set, not set, let me not use the word set, because I had a husband who was very teachable, but he's somebody that had his values for how he wanted to do life, and he didn't dance to family tune. He was already marking out a path for himself before I came into his life. So he was a strong man who could stand and say, no, I don't want this, and all of that. And then, of course, he met me, and me too, in my own way. I would call myself a strong person. I wasn't the kind of woman, even before I got married, that anybody could push around. In fact, when we got married, when I said yes to him, and a lot of people in church got to hear, according to what he relayed to me later, they went to him, how did you do it? How did you get her to even listen? She's tough, she's this and that. So we had that conversation. So you can imagine when two strong people
come together.
Yes, I wasn't like the vocal one. He was the one who was more vocal and everything. And I wasn't so vocal, but I had my own. You couldn't push me around. You understand? So that was there at the background. So the way we ran our home, family did not really, they didn't have a say in what the decisions. You know, there are some marriages you go into and the man is dancing to the tune of everybody except the wife. So the wife has to struggle to play catch up.
Wow.
You know, when we started from the very scratch, and the way we built our family life, he made it very clear that he made everybody know I don't joke with my wife.
Wow.
And I will not tolerate anything that will maybe insult towards her or anything. So that one was on the table, clear. So nobody came to intervene in whatever, interfere in whatever we're doing, except we brought you in. You understand?